Okay. So what is this game called? Jeopardy. We are. But we are. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I was sitting. Okay, hold on, everyone. So I was sitting at my desk and I was like, okay, how are we gonna do like this Q&A thing with our Guatemala kids and still make it interesting for y'all? So I thought, why not play a game of Jeopardy where you guys get to ask them the questions? So what we're gonna do is basically, because there's a lot of questions, we're gonna keep each question to one or two of you. So you guys know each other because you guys went on the trip together. So you guys kind of get to decide who gets to answer each question. But all of you have to obviously talk at some point. Okay? Make sense?
Yes, Alex.
I'm Alex. Okay, who wants to go first? Okay, Frankie, what would you like to ask?
The personnel experience.
Okay, personnel experience for how much? For 50. All right, read it out. Can you read that?
How did you grow in your personnel?
How did you grow in your personal walk with the Lord? Okay, who's got this one? Anybody want to answer? Okay, Evie. So just give Evie the mic.
We're doing this.
We're doing mics.
We're doing this. Okay.
It's more physical.
Well, on the trip, someone gave a lecture. Someone from a different church gave like a devotional on intimacy and PK. Was it hiddenness? Intimacy and hiddenness?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And drinking from like the flowing stream of life and the pond, gross pond, and that just really hit me right here. And that just really, you really want to be intimate with the Lord and not have a far away relationship.
Sometimes it takes getting out of our comfort zone to realize that.
That too.
That too. Okay, somebody else. Who wants to go? Okay, Johanna, what do you got?
I was gonna ask the culture one.
Okay, culture for how much?
Fun.
30. Some of these are silly, I apologize. All right, read it out.
What are some cultural differences between Guatemala and the United States?
Okay, who's got it? Caleb?
Okay, so one thing that I really noticed was how open everybody was. Everybody could hug you and talk to you even if you didn't know their language, and interact and smile. And a lot around here, people are kind of standoffish or stick with their cliques or whatever, so yeah.
Anybody else? Notice anything? Evie?
No, you should go.
Charity should go.
Charity.
Charity's going for it.
What did you notice?
Well, the clinic in Guatemala is very different than the hospital here. I almost
Personal experience.
I almost hit my head on a window when I was laying down on their little bed, and I'm pretty sure that would never happen here.
Most excellent. Sorry. Okay. Who we got? Okay, Ty.
My favorite color is orange. I'll go logistics for 10.
Logistics for 10.
I'm gonna do that.
Logistics. Okay.
What was the van ride like getting there?
What were the van rides right?
Well, the roads were really swervy, so if you,
Swervy?
yeah, they like
Take your drink.
yeah, take your jam. I mean, if you get car sick.
Were there lots of potholes?
Oh, yes.
Oh yes.
Rocks and boulders?
Rocks, like very bumpy and hilly, very hilly.
Okay, so swervy and hilly.
Yes.
Okay.
Also, about 4 to 5 to 7 hours, depending on traffic.
4 to 5 to 7 hours.
Well, not to the village.
Wait, traffic?
Not to the village.
No, not
On these cobble roads?
Oh, no.
No.
The village was about an hour and a half, 2
Yeah.
hours, but getting from Guatemala City to Zacapa was about, it was from 2 to 5, maybe 6 hours. Depends on traffic.
Okay. All right, good to know. All right. He's got the next one. Naomi.
Teamwork for 30.
Teamwork for 30.
Were there any other churches involved in the missions trip?
Were there any other churches? Naomi.
Yes, there were. So we had a team from SouthGate, obviously. There was a team from Emmanuel Community Church. There's like
two churches combined with Clearwater.
Yeah, so Clearwater, which used to be Mountain Life, and
Nobody else.
C4. And then we had one person from Council Tree. There's another one, isn't there?
No.
Oh no, Good Shepherd. Nobody came from Good Shepherd.
And y'all, like, did you guys work together the whole time, or was it every church kind of by themselves?
No, there were no like church dividing lines in the team. It was just like, I mean, except for like the devotionals at night. Like one church picked a person to do it one night, and y'all were assigned nights based on churches. But that was it.
Cool.
Very cool story about the Florida church.
Oh yeah.
Florida church.
So a church in Florida has adopted the village, like kind of above San Miguel, called Laguneta, and they were also there that week. So we got to kind of like meet them, and then on the last day, the San Miguel soccer team played a game against the Laguneta soccer team, and we all went and watched, except that we kind of got there late because they were really excited and wanted to start it like 3 hours before they were supposed to. So
We got there for the shootout.
we got there for like the tying goal and the shootout, and San Miguel lost to Laguneta, so we definitely need a rematch.
We started off strong.
I'll play next year.
Yeah, Juanita, you gotta come and play next year.
All right, cool. All right, Juanita, what you got?
My favorite color is also orange, so I'll do 20.
20?
Yeah.
Okay. Read it out.
Were the plane seats comfortable? Could you sleep
we can
on?
all answer
Could you sleep on the
Were the
bus?
plane seats comfortable?
Yeah.
And could you sleep on the bus?
Let's just start right here. We're going all.
Just go all the way across.
On the flight to Houston to Denver, I got to sit in first class. So that seat was comfortable. On the bus, yes, I did sleep.
Did you sleep well?
No.
The plane seats weren't too uncomfortable. I mean, they were fine. I didn't
Better than a
sleep.
Spirit flight.
What?
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it was a United plane, so they were fine. I did not sleep well on the bus at all. I don't know if I even actually ever.
That's actually why I put that question
ever,
there.
because I didn't
You
sleep.
told me. Yeah, why not?
Yeah. So everybody kind of tried, but it didn't work for most people.
On the bus from Zacapa to Guatemala City, there was one person who was hot and the rest of us were freezing. And every time we'd be like, turn it up. And then that one person who was really hot kept saying like, turn it down. So it was freezing. It was so cold. We were all wearing like double layers and sweatshirts. But the plane ride, I took a different airline than they did. An American, the seats were super comfortable. And I slept on the bus on the way back from the village because it was tiring.
I thought the plane seats were pretty comfortable, especially when I was in first class. And I did sort of sleep on the bus, but you're like asleep, but you could still tell everything that was happening. Yeah.
And then you nod off and then you fall on the seat.
You'd still be bumping up and down, and you could, yeah, sort of.
Yes, the plane seats were pretty comfortable, and I didn't
Good
really.
Sorry, go ahead.
I didn't really sleep well on the buses. I mean, I slept just not well.
I didn't expect you to.
Tell them about your story.
The head.
Where I crashed into the window.
Oh my.
So on the bus ride back to Guatemala City, I had kind of nodded off, and it was and we turned like a really wide left turn, and my head crashed into the window. So.
Really shouldn't be laughing at that.
Alex, I have one quick story.
Okay.
So, my Rachel was feeling really, really poorly on the trip back from Guatemala to Denver. And Jesse, on 2 legs of that trip, gave up his first class seat.
Such a
for
bro.
Rachel. And I was really blessed by that.
Okay.
Should I go next, please?
Daniel, you had your hand up. You want to take one?
Community for 50.
Community for 50.
such good questions.
So, what was the community of San Miguel like? Okay, Abby?
Okay, so the community there, on the first trip, it was a lot different than it was now because they were a little more shy, but this trip, they were all, like Karina said in the video, like they were just coming up and giving us hugs when we were leaving, and the little boys would just come up and jump on you and tackle you. But it was really kind of united because there's two different religions. There's Catholic and then there's evangelical. But on the first trip they were really divided, but now they're kind of like working together and really spending more time together. But there was one kind of really bad fight in the men's meeting, and my dad had to break it up. It wasn't like a fist fight, it was like a verbal fight about like the two. Is that right? Yeah.
It was not a fist fight.
It was not, no, it was like a verbal debate about something.
It was a deftly avoided conflict.
What would you rate the conversation from PG to R?
Okay, Naomi?
So
It's G-rated.
G-rated
I'd
fight.
expect R.
So as far as like what it looks like in San Miguel, it's like it's super dirty. Like if you look at it, you think it's really dirty. Like there's trash everywhere. Their pigs are kind of like pets, and they just like run around like everywhere.
Big cats.
So there's pigs everywhere, and there's piglets everywhere, and there's dogs everywhere, and there's dust everywhere because it's pretty dry. It was a dry season when we went this last time, and so yeah, my shoes were black when I went, and now they're like gray.
Yeah, they're gray shoes. Same, I washed them.
But yeah, and their houses are usually like made of mud with like kind of palm branches kind of stuff underneath, like a thatched roof kind of. Some of them are a little bit nicer and they'll have like maybe a tin roof, or maybe they're made out of cinder blocks, but most of them are not.
Yeah, I think there was a part of the video that you kind of got to saw a little bit of that. Yeah, inside the houses. So. All right. Somebody on this side. Want to pick one? Beth? What do you got? Culture for 40. Okay. What was the most interesting part of Guatemalan culture? Mommy.
I'll do it. Okay, I guess I'm stuck with the mic again. Do you want to do it?
I'm just trying to think what was the most interesting part.
Oh, I got this. You go next. So, the most interesting part was probably the difference in height. Because there'd just be like, you could see like a sea of faces, and then our our leader that was there at Hope of Life with us was just like, you could see him out of any crowd, and you could see Caleb too, and Mr. Jesse and PK. They were just like up there, and everyone was down here. But also the food is very different. They have beans 3 meals a day, and they have this breakfast cookie that is like the best thing in the entire world. I mean, it's so good. Well, it's not the best thing in the entire world. It's one of the best.
One of them. Okay. All right, Andy.
So one day we went into Chiquimula, which is a little town that's like at the bottom of the mountain that San Miguel is on. And we went to a market, which was super cool and very interesting because it was one of the like, for real, the meat's just like hanging out there in the middle of the air. You could like, there was whole pig heads or something. We weren't completely sure what it was, but there was like their fruit stands and their clothes, and then there was a bunch of like shoe stores, like modern, like they just look like normal shoe stores, and clothing, like men's formal wear and stuff. So it was a really odd like mixture of things, but I really liked the super like cultural pieces, like the meat hanging up was like, whoa. I've never seen that before. It was just like all over the counter.
So the market there is kind of like the Russian market in Cambodia. It's just stalls that are this close. You have like walking room and that's it. Like you can't walk with somebody beside you. It's just like a straight line down. And if you want to go into a shop, you have to duck under the clothes that are hanging right there. So.
Because they hang things at a height for them.
So we were all like trying to get under there.
All right, cool. Great answers.
Please, wow, please.
Okay, Olivia?
Personal experience 30.
Personal experience 30. Is there something you gained while being in Guatemala you will never forget?
Jonathan, that was supposed to be for her.
Who's got it? Anna?
So I noticed that, really one thing that I really took away was how blessed we are here in America. Because going to San Miguel and seeing how little they had, it was just really, really sad just seeing the life they lived while we're here taking a bunch of stuff for granted when we should really just be praising God for what He's given us.
For sure, for sure. Anybody else? Charity? You got it, Charity.
Okay. One thing I'll never forget is just we go into the village and everyone is just so happy to see you. And like one day we were teaching some of the boys how to make these lanterns.
They were like 18 years old.
And they all left, and all these little kids were just hanging around with us, and they wanted something to do, and we had like little name tags, and they just like sat there for hours just coloring on these little name tags on like every inch of space they could get on, and just like same thing Anna was saying, how much we take for granted, and how little they have, and yet they're still so happy.
Awesome, really, really good. Okay.
Please.
Zane.
I want culture.
Culture 50. Okay. What are some essentials here's a follow-up question for you. What are some essentials we might take for granted in Colorado that the people of Guatemala don't have? Caleb.
Food and water. Definitely. Like, I can't remember, someone said in Volcancito, which was the other village a couple of us visited, they were telling us about how their diet was basically beans, like 3 times a day. It's causing problems for just eating beans all the time. It's not healthy.
And did you guys, when was the well built? Was that built last time you guys were in Guatemala?
That was the first trip.
Yeah, in San Miguel.
Yeah, no, that was last year.
Okay, that was last year. Yeah. Cool. Great. Good.
Charity.
Okay, Naomi.
So they have water technically, but they don't have running water. Like, it's not in their homes. They still have to take a bucket and walk down to the water point and get it and walk back to their house. So even though they have cleaner water now, it's not nearly as accessible as it is for us.
One other thing was just like basic things like toothpaste. There was one lady that went up to Miss Carmen and she was like, I want toothpaste. No one has given me a thing of toothpaste yet. And
that is a great story. She came to just meet us, and then she said, "Did you have toothpaste?" And I go, "I don't." She goes, "Well, nobody has come to my house. Last year you guys came, but not this time." And they teach us that we cannot promise anything, even if it's just a toothpaste, right? Because the village is big, that you don't know what house you're going to end up. So for me, I say, would you pray that we actually come to your house? And she just said, okay. She came every day for 3 days. And then she just asked, is there any toothpaste? I go, no. I said, just pray. So we went with Jesse, walking house to house, and Jesse goes, let's go to that house. And I go, no, let's go to the next one. And he goes, we don't have time, we gotta go to this house. And I said, okay. So we got into that one, and that was the lady. She was just like, thank you, I've been praying that you actually come and bring me a toothpaste. I go, well, I didn't know. That means God answers, because it wasn't I didn't know it was you. So it was very, it was a good answer of faith and prayer for this new person who's learning to have that kind of relationship with Christ, right? So it was very neat.
Something that simple is just just toothpaste. We can just go buy it for like $2. That's crazy. All right, one more thing.
Clothes. While we were there, the children, I've seen them in 2 pairs of clothes, the same 2. I think they like alternate days. But these twins I saw, they wore the same clothes, even though they had like paint on them from painting the school with us. and they had like dust and dirt, they wore them for multiple days in a row. So we really take having multiple pairs of clothes for granted too.
That's insane. Okay, cool.
Me.
Jeez. Last question.
Alana?
Teamwork for 50.
Teamwork for 50. All right. Do the people of San Miguel require teamwork to keep their village functioning?
Yes. Like, was it like? Yeah, like Emmy was saying, they're starting to not be divided so much along like religious lines. But there was also, like they could definitely work on it because we went to one part of the village that's called Sector 5, and they're kind of isolated from the rest of the village. They don't like the person that's the president currently, or he doesn't like them, or both, or something. And sometimes their water gets like turned off or diverted, and it's just like running down the hill. And like they didn't even know that we were there because nobody had come and told them. So, I mean, I guess that's an example of how they're not using teamwork and not functioning very well. But yes,
Yeah.
that would help.
Yeah.
Sure. Yes.
Cool. All right. Evie?
They do use teamwork more, like Naomi said, than they did before, and I feel like they're trying to communicate to each other now, except with the exception of like the sectors that have the trouble with the mayor and stuff like that. But I think they are definitely getting better at that.
Cool. Yeah, for sure. All right. Johanna? Dan? Benjamin, you're nice. Johanna, what you got? Hold on. There we go.
Personal experience 30.
Personal experience. Which one?
30.
Okay, we've already done 30. How about 40?
4.
Okay. How did God use your personal talents on this trip to Guatemala? Caleb.
Well, my personal talent is being able to get along with a lot of little children.
So why do you say that?
When we would go up to the blacktop, their soccer and basketball area, while the girls and were doing crafts, the guys and us would come up to the sports area, and it was kind of just, you opened the suitcase and they grabbed everything and were like off to all four corners, and yeah, it's like you couldn't control them, so you just had to go with them.
Not a lot of people have that talent to control a lot of people. Anybody else? Charity?
Yeah, go for it. So one day we had, or in the morning, me, Nami, and Karina taught a little dance class for some of the girls there, and we were kind of nervous and expecting them to just stare at us and laugh and not
That's my
do
life
anything. But it went really well, and they all got like way into it, and yeah, we had a lot of fun. And then at the end we got to show them the dance that we had done in Spanish, so that was cool too.
I saw a couple of videos. Did they do their own dance? Like you taught them to dance, or did you guys do a dance and like they do a dance?
So that was Fiesta night. They have their own. So at Hope of Life, there's a section. There's some
homes called the Village of Transformation, and it's like, it used to be an orphanage, but now it's like families, so it's got a mom and a dad and like 4 girls and 4 boys and any kids that the couple has, so that's like one home, and there's, I don't know, like 15 of them maybe.
like a couple volunteers to come.
I think it's one family, 4 kids, but there's up to 8 kids.
Oh, okay.
Family for a couple.
Right, so like for a house. So it was a bunch of girls from those houses that had learned dances that they perform at Fiesta night every week for the teams. So we weren't really involved with that, but we did get to dance.
Yeah.
We did our
begged
dance.
to dance that event. That's what they told us.
What?
You guys begged to dance for that
Oh,
event.
apparently we begged to dance,
Which wasn't
true. We were volunteered and we didn't even know about it until we gave it our consent.
Someone asked our dad,
And he was like, oh yeah, they'll do that.
He's like, of
And
course they will.
The guy introducing us said that we had begged him to dance.
Yeah, that was a little awkward, but
I
anyway.
remember you guys getting on the bus and your dad's like, oh, by the way, you're dancing up against tonight. You guys, like, deer in the headlights, you're like, what?
Okay, we got a couple more. Logistics are funny, I think. If I remember right. Benjamin, what you got?
Logistics for 50.
Logistics for 50. Oh yeah.
What was the weather difference between Colorado and Guatemala? I'll go after. Is there bugs?
Are there bugs? Is there time difference? And what's the weather like? Anna.
The weather is very warm compared to Colorado, and it's
So it's not 19 degrees all the time?
correct. And it's
It's just impossible. Okay, go ahead.
and it's humid there, whereas Colorado is dry. The time difference, Guatemala is 1 hour ahead.
Only
of
during,
Central time.
yes.
only during certain times of daylight. So during daylight savings, it's the same.
Cool. Very good. All right, we'll give them a round of applause. You guys can go sit back down.
I was giving that.
All right, cool. Well, I just thought that would be a good little thing to do, just to give all of us kind of a. Hold on, guys. Hold on. We're almost done. So I thought that'd be good to just give us a little bit more insight into what other countries are like. And one of our goals here, at least one of my goals that I want to do for all of us, is to have a more cultural mindset. So kind of Jesus was very much for the nations, and he was go out to all nations and preach and share the gospel. And that's what I want us to have, a mind that is toward that, and that we're not somewhat but focused on that. And to do that, we've been doing a lot of the gospel. You guys, we've been doing the 3 pillars and having people come up and do that. That's all for a reason. It's not just to have you memorize something. So we really want to get the gospel ingrained into each and every one of us, so that we can go out and do that, especially in different situations where we're in another country where you have all these different barriers. You don't want, oh wait, how does the gospel go again? That shouldn't be your biggest distraction. That should be what you know the best. And then when it comes time to do that, you know how to do that very well. So consider going on a mission trip. Consider going to Guatemala next time that opportunity comes up. It's a time to get out of your bubble and let the Lord put you in some harder situations to help you to work through those things with Him. And it also strengthens your ability to share the gospel with people. So remember that. If you are interested at all in what kind of you heard tonight, or the video, you guys kind of got to see what that was like, come talk to me. I would love to help you become a part of that whenever we have a mission trip like that again, because it is amazing, and I'm glad that you guys got to have that experience and tell us about it.
Sand on her shoes, finally reached the shore. After miles of blues, we're standing at the door. We were fearless in dreams, now we're here. Now we see the fight before us, and you say that this is hopeless, but I say, come on, get living. The past is the past, there's no going back now. Don't wanna miss this, it's time to let go of that moment you're chasing. We're here now, we've made it. Come on, just light the match and turn, and watch the ships burn. I'm tired of talking, I'm ready to begin. I might be crazy for leaving, but brother, I'm all in. Open doors, pounding chest, the choice is yours. All that's left is walking through it, and you say that you can't do it, but I say, come on, get living. past is the past, there's no going back now. Don't wanna miss this, it's time to let go of that moment you're chasing. We here now, we've made it. Come on, just light the match and turn and watch the ships burn. Open doors, pounding chest, choice is yours. All that's left is walking through it. And you say that you can't do it, but I say we were fearless in dreams. Now we're here, now we see the fight before us, and I know that it's not hopeless. Come on, get living. Past is the past, there's no going back now. Don't wanna miss this, it's time to let go of that moment you're chasing. We here now, we've made it. Come on, just light the match and turn and watch the ships burn.